Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes took game one in their round one series against the New York Islanders. And the reason they did that was because the power play actually showed up. Find out what happened in last night's game, as well as hear from Rod Brind'Amour, Martin Necas, Annti Raanta, and Andrei Svechnikov, all in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And this episode is once again brought to you by the lovely folks over at FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96. Really having a lot of fun with the playoffs right now and had a lot of fun last night at the game as well. This was the Hurricanes' fifth straight playoff appearance. Tell that to a Hurricanes fan 10 years ago and they laugh in your face because it's crazy. And they did come away with the win 2-1. Should have been 3-1 in my opinion. The Hurricanes did have a goal called back early in the second period, but at the end of the day, they still came away with the win. And like I said, a big, really probably the main reason they came away with that win is the fact that their power play showed up. Both of their goals last night came on the power play, one from Sebastian Aho, the other from Steph Nazin. And going into this series, the Hurricanes, we talked about this with Gil. They were ranked 19th in the NHL with their power play. But I did find this one statistic earlier this morning. Since Andrei Svechnikov went out, their power play was second to last in the league, operating at 10.9%. Like I said yesterday, that 19th in the NHL was generous. And that's exactly why. And again, the power play did show up last night, and that's great. With the first power play goal coming a little after 3.5 minutes into the game. And I feel that the Hurricanes, they were really able to catch the Islanders off guard. They really just came out quick, ready to go, and the Islanders hadn't really fully settled in, Sorokin especially, hadn't settled in yet, and they were still getting to their game, and the Hurricanes took advantage of that. Same with the second goal, because that one also came about 2.5 minutes into the second period. Again, really taking advantage of the Islanders settling into the periods. I had said in the past, that was something that teams took advantage of with the Hurricanes. So it's nice to see them doing that here in this game. And actually, with Sebastian Aho's goal, he is now tied Eric Stahl for most postseason goals in Hurricanes and Whalers history with 19. You figure that record will be solely his pretty darn soon, maybe after tomorrow, but that's just something we'll just have to wait and see. Don't want to jinx anything. But Steph Nazin with his power play goal, that was his first NHL playoff goal since 2018. Obviously, kind of hanging out in the AHL some and not getting the NHL opportunities as much. So, nice to see him continue to take advantage of his season. And, you know, what that was ended up being the game-winning goal as well. He again should have had another, but it is what it is with that. The Hurricanes did come away with the win, but following that amazing goal, Pollock answered back pretty darn quickly. I want to say it was within 2 minutes. Actually, I think it was less. I think it may have been within like a minute and a half, but did answer pretty quickly. You figured someone probably said shutout and jinxed it, but the Hurricanes, they were able to fend off the Islanders because it felt like once, kinda like halfway through the periods is when the Islanders really started getting to their game. Like, in the first period, like, that first half of the period, it was, like, all Hurricanes. It was the Islanders were really lucky the score was not worse than what it was, and that's a testament to their goaltending. And then, in the second period, the Hurricanes did, kind of catch them off guard early, but they were able to, settle in quicker and then fight back. And like we said yesterday, we felt that this series is going to be low scoring and physical, and that's what we got. We didn't expect, 7 goals or anything like that. Like Gil said, if you're a betting person, neither me or him are, you probably want to take the under uh, for the large majority of these games. So, the Islanders, they really did try to make it a game. And then you really look in that third period, especially when Brent Burns, took that, I believe it was a slashing penalty within the final 5 minutes. The Hurricanes were lucky it didn't go to overtime. And of course, here in the playoffs, there's no shootout. It's just overtime, overtime, overtime. We all remember the bubble when that one game went to like 7 overtimes. I forget who it was. I think it was Columbus and Tampa. I think that's who it was. But yeah, it's been several years ago now. But, you know, the Islanders really did try to make it a game. And the Hurricanes, they're going to have their work cut out for them. The Islanders aren't just going to roll over and give the Hurricanes a series. No, this is going to be a series. This isn't going to be a sweep again like it was in 2019. And the Islanders proved that this is going to be a 6 or 7 game series. And if the Hurricanes power play can continue to show up like it did in game one, then the Hurricanes' path to winning the series is going to be easier. But if it falls back down to 10.9%, it's not as guaranteed for the Hurricanes. And I love that the power play showed up as good as it did in this game. I really do. I love it. And because it had been such a poor, poor, poor power play. So the fact that it showed up is great. But I'm not sold after one game. I'm not at all because it's just one game. I want to see it continue to, again, at least look like a threat because that's a big thing with the Hurricanes power play last night is that for the most part, whenever they did get power play opportunities, they looked like a threat. So that's going to be something that the Hurricanes need to continue to work on. If we get, to game four, it doesn't really matter, who's leading the series at that point, but well, obviously I want the Hurricanes to. But say like we get to game four and the Hurricanes power play is still, operating at a not even necessarily high level, but just good level, not necessarily converting it, like they did, here or anything like that, but they're looking like a threat. They're getting power play goals. And if they're just doing that, then okay, I'd be willing to hear you guys out a little bit more on that. But I am not sold on the Hurricanes power play yet. I need to see a more sustained success period for it before I'm like, okay, we got this in the bag. But the Hurricanes, they as a whole did play a good team game last night. That was something that is going to be, I said, is important for them to win this series and continue to win throughout the playoffs. They have to play a team game. Power play needs to show up, and it did last night because not only was the power play really good, the penalty kill and defense was spectacular. The penalty kill went 4 for 4, looked absolutely fantastic, was deadly, absolutely deadly. And one thing that was funny that my girlfriend pointed out was on the jumbotron, whenever they would successfully kill off a penalty, a criminal defense little ad would come up there, and it was by a law firm, and it was really funny. we got a kick out of it. But also, Annti Raanta was a spectacular last night. I know, like, some folks, were like, "Oh, why isn't it Freddie?" But I think Annti Raanta was the right choice to lead off the Hurricanes for the series. He's been the hotter set of hands as of late. If I remember correctly, I believe he was 19 3-3 on the season. Absolutely stellar. I don't remember his save percentage and goals allowed, but I know those were pretty darn good as well. So I think that was the right choice. The one head scratch, I mean, it's one thing to talk about it now, but, the starting lineup, going with the 4th line and, the 3rd pairing, that was a little interesting, but ultimately, it ended up paying off in for the Hurricanes. So they likely saw something that they liked with the Islanders and like, "Hey, let's put that line out there, to start off," and it worked out for the Hurricanes. So I imagine, in game 2, 3, we'll see things, continue to maybe play out the way they did in game 1. But again, talking about Annti Raanta and how good he was last night, we did get to hear joint press conference with him and Martin and Necas from last night's game. Necas also had 2 assists on the night. As did Brent Burns. Both of those guys were stars for the game, with Annti Raanta being the first. We also got to hear from Andrei Svechnikov in an intermission and Rod Brind'Amour after the game as well. And we will hear from Necas and Raanta right after this quick break, folks. Now, of course, folks, the playoffs are here. And if you are a betting person and are wanting to bet on a game, make sure you do so with FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're a baseball fan, they got you covered there as well, because grand slams, no hitters, and double plays are back. And there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to fanduel.com/locked on to sign up, place your bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. And of course, NBA playoffs are going on as well. If you want to bet, whether it be on the Kings, the Warriors, the Suns, the Bucks, I forget who else is in the playoffs right now. The Celtics. There's just so many playoffs going on right now, because you also have the NHL playoffs. If you're wanting to bet on the Hurricanes, the Bruins, the Panthers, the Jets, the Stars, the Knights, whatever, do so at FanDuel right now. So don't miss your chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to fanduel.com/locked on to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. Now, folks, game 2 is tomorrow. And if you're wanting to, go to the game, go to the game. But if you're wanting to listen to it, make sure you're doing so on Sirius XM. They're having the local broadcast of all NHL playoffs games, whether it's the Hurricanes, whether it is the Golden Knights, the Jets, whoever, they're all going to be on SiriusXM. So make sure you download the SXM app and are listening wherever you are, whether it's at home, at work, in your car, wherever. But we did get to hear from Martin Necas and Annti Raanta. The joint playoff press conferences are back, folks. And this is what Necas and Raanta had to say.
Calm, collected, and looked like saw most of the shots. A little bit of traffic, but you saw most of the shots come through. That's kind of an ideal goalie's night, I guess.
Yeah, they played kind of similar game to us. Like they love to shot the puck from the point. So you just try to see the release and react for that. And couple shots where what I couldn't see, but our guys were blocking those. And I think in the first period I got a couple of good saves to kind of get you into the game, and it was kind of fun to play these games again. Just super excited and getting that home crowd going. It just gives you the energy, and I think most of the time we played really really well in front of the net. So I just needed to make the first save, and our guys were helping me a lot.
What was your reaction? I mean, I know you and Freddie have alternated a lot of the year, but what was your reaction when you told that you were going to get the start tonight?
Pretty much just kind of day-by-day mentality. It's the same way than in the season. It's usually day before you get to know that, and I knew that I've been practicing well, so I knew that if it's my turn to play, I'm ready to go, and obviously excited to get the call.
Marty, you were probably sick of us talking about the power play during the season. So can you run through kind of what do you think went right tonight that made you guys be successful, especially obviously at the beginning?
Yeah, first of all, we won the face-offs and started with the puck, which is huge, and then just puck didn't stay on our sticks too long. We made a good plays. It's all about confidence. You get a couple touches on a power play, and you're like guys that are supposed to play with the puck more. Get the feeling, and then you feel even 5-on-5 better. So. Yeah, it was a good movement on the power play. Obviously huge. We got 2 goals on the keeper today, and we just gotta dial it in and keep going that way.
How much does Burns a factor in that? Just the way he played on the power play and overall in general.
Yeah, he's got a great shot. So trying to feed him with the pucks, so he doesn't have anyone in the line in the lane, and he can get it to the net with the traffic, and we just keep it simple. If there's a play to make, just go for it, and if not, just working around and make simple passes.
Annti, how much confidence does it give you now that you got that first win and you guys have the series lead going forward now in the series?
Yeah, obviously you always want to start with the win, and I think we came ready to play, and it's going to be like that the whole series. It's 2 hardworking teams, and like we saw, the power play came through, and they won the game for us. So tomorrow is a recovery day, and then we go again. So I think everybody's feeling good, but everything starts with the 0-0 again on Wednesday.
Were you expecting to be named the starter?
I think it could go either way. So I think that was the reason why we kind of went back and forth at the end there, and it's you just try to make sure that you're ready to go if it's your turn, and obviously it was nice to get the start and obviously get the win.
Can you give us your perspective on, you come out in the third period, like you said, most of the defense in front of you have been pretty good, then they have the 2 chances in tight. Is it tough to come in at the beginning of a period, make 2 tough stops like that?
Maybe if it's in the first period, you kind of try to get into the game, but I wouldn't say in third period anymore. You kind of in the flow already, and every puck, every shot matters. So you just try to make the save, and it was obviously a good way to start the period, get those couple saves, and get that good feeling going.
Martin, before the game, Jordan Stahl talked a lot about just the volume of shot that he need to put on net in order to get Sorokin off his mind. Is that kind of what Coach preached to you guys beforehand?
Yeah, just at every goalie at this at this level, at this time of the year in the playoffs, you gotta have somebody at the net to screen for the goalies. Same, just like Ryan says. When he sees it, he usually catches it. So it's against every goalie, you gotta get in front and just keep it simple, keep shooting pucks. Get some rebounds there, and just simple as that.
Marty, with this season you kind of bounced back after a slightly tougher season last year. How does it feel during this playoffs to be contributing already as you have in Game 1 as compared to last year?
Yeah, last year was, coming in the playoffs, wasn't feeling very confident, and it was just, the whole season wasn't great from my end, and this season I came ready, feeling good, and just trying to play my game, do simple things, and then something comes up, and just trying to play my game, play simple.
Annti, from a goaltender's perspective, those last 90 seconds when they pull their goalie and they have the extra attacker, just how hard is it to remain composed? To the fans, everybody's going crazy and the puck's moving all over the place. Just what's it like from a goaltender's perspective?
Yeah, you just try to keep your focus on the puck and what's going on around you, but I think everybody feels it on the ice and on the bench, and the building is rocking and your ears are ringing a little bit. So, but it's much easier to say than done. Sometimes you just have to keep focused on what's happening in front of you and like that. But it's a pretty awesome feeling to be in these situations and get that chance to get that 1-goal lead and go to the last minute and defend that. So we put our bodies on the line in that last 9 seconds and that was a big reason why we got the win.
All right, thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So, getting to hear from Necas and Raanta last night. Necas obviously, talking about the power play. We've talked about that at length. But, Raanta, talking about, him getting the start, in those last 90 seconds. Again, I think Raanta was the right move. He'd been the hotter set of hands as of late. So I feel, going to the playoffs, you got to do that. You look in years past, they always go with the hotter set of hands. They went with Ned in the playoffs, a few years ago. And, you end up losing, that series. And, Peter and James, both left, whatever. But it was the right move. And that last 90 seconds, and, when the Islanders, just pushing, I wasn't worried. And that's one thing to say, right now, being, removed, from the game and everything. But, there are many times, looking down, during the game, the Islanders pushed and pushing. But Annti Raanta, he was locked in. He was locked in that game. And I wasn't worried. I'm like, all right, yeah, he's locked in. He ain't letting anything by. And, the team around him is also playing fantastic. I've talked about it many times. Ned's second game back here in Raleigh, I missed his first game. It was that game where he had that shutout. I looked over at my girlfriend and told her, we aren't winning this game. Ned is locked in. And you can tell that sometimes, with these goalies, you're sitting there watching and everything. Sometimes you can tell, like, all right, this guy's locked in. Like, it's going to take something big to knock them out of the groove that they're in. And Annti Raanta was knocked out of his groove last night. And that's a testament to him and just how good he is. And, we've talked about at length, the hole that Andrei Svechnikov left on this team, whenever he tore his ACL. He was the siren sounder for the first period last night, but you wouldn't have known it because you could not hear him get announced and you could not hear the siren because it was so stinking loud in there. But he also did speak to the media during the first intermission, which was a surprise to me when I'm, looking at all the media stuff. Like, what? Andrei spoke to the media? What? And we did get to hear from him. And this is what Andrei had to say to the media during the first intermission in last night's game.
What are your emotions of not being able to play and just watch? It's gotta be killing.
Yeah, it's tough. In the season it was kind of okay, but right now once you sit down and then see this atmosphere and what we're playing for, everything comes together and it's kind of tough to watch it obviously and play side to side with my boys.
How did your surgery go and how's the recovery been?
Yeah, surgery went good. Doctor said everything went good, and obviously first couple of weeks wasn't good. It was a little bit painful, but after that was fine. I've been walking and doing all the exercises and working out every day.
Do you have a plan? Are you going to stay here over the summer? Do you think to rehab?
Yeah, I mean, let's win the cup, and I didn't make any plans, so let's focus on the hockey.
You hear that round of applause for you at the beginning of the game for when you're doing the siren, and just hear the love for you. I mean, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, I've been feeling that love last 4 weeks, to be honest. It's been amazing. I've been laying down on my living room and I see just people coming to my house. All the neighbors bringing cookies, and that's a special place, to be honest. And I love everything about this place.
How do you think you did on the siren?
I don't know. You tell me. I think pretty good, but I was going and my shoulder got tired. I was thinking to stop a couple of times, but it took a while, so it was fun.
Do you expect to get ready? Was that on? Was you hit a run on the ice? Is that when?
Yeah, nothing serious happened, to be honest. I was just pretty much skating, and my knee went inside of it, and that's how I got injured. I guess in 2020 year when I kind of turned in a bubble, maybe you guys remember, I tore my ankle. I sprained my ankle and I tore my MCL. So I had a little bit of tear on my ACL. So it was about the time.
Do you expect to be ready for training camp?
Yeah, I hope so. I will do everything for that for sure.
What's your message to the team with the playoffs?
Well, just we know how to play, and all the guys doing that. So we just gotta stick with that, and obviously outscore those guys.
Is there a timetable yet for when you think you might be ready?
Yeah, well, doctor said between 6 and 9 months. So, when I got injured, it was it would be 7 months till the new season. So, hopefully, I will be ready.
Are you going to travel with the team in the playoffs?
We'll see. I wasn't thinking about it yet, but maybe some games for sure.
You've been through this playing. It's obviously a different thing to have to be watching from the fifth floor. How hard is that on you personally?
Yeah, like I said, very, very hard, to be honest. In a season was fine, but right now, you've been watching and you just want to go out there and, play hockey. But it's been tough. It's part of our life and my life as well. So I just got to stay patient. I'm going to have lots of time.
Can you try to learn something as you watch?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I mean, just watching games because I didn't really had the chance like that, watching from upstairs. So now I got the chance, and obviously, I've been watching already 20 games. I learned a few things for sure.
How big's your brother in terms of support?
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. All my family, my parents, my brother, especially brother, he had the same surgery, ACL, so he been through that, and he gave me a really good advice is what I gotta do, and I've been doing that.
Be patient as much as it.
Yeah, for sure. Be patient, and all the exercises, all that stuff.
Which one of your teammates do you think is going to have the biggest performance this playoffs?
Biggest performance. So I can pick everyone, to be honest, because they're all going to be playing good.
All right. Thanks, Svech. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
So, okay, it's great to hear from Svech during the intermission. And, a lot of it, obviously, kind of timetables of, when is he going to be back, and, how is he handling everything and everything like that. You kind of figure that. I do like, the timetable is, the start of the regular season is within the timetable. That'd be 7 months. And knowing Svech, I do feel that he's probably going to hit that and be back for the regular season. And, for the start of the regular season, excuse me. And if he's not, it'll be pretty darn soon afterwards. But for me, a big thing there is when he talked about his injury in the bubble when he rolled his ankle and tore his MCL. Now there was a minor tear to his ACL as well, and that it was about time for that as well. And that was crazy. I didn't even consider that. It didn't even click that it was the same leg that he hurt up there. So, let's hope everything is okay down there now with his knee. Obviously, he's had the surgeries and everything, but that was crazy for me. I'm like, what? There was a minor tear there. I guess it wasn't bad enough for them to fix at the time or anything. I don't know. But it is what it is now, and I'm excited to be able to see him back, and it was a pleasant surprise to be able to hear from him last night as well. But we did get to hear from Rod Brind'Amour as well following last night's game, and we will hear what Rod had to say right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, we've talked about it many times before. If you're a longtime listener, you know just how important taking a good multivitamin is, and Athletic Greens is the one for you. Now, I've been taking Athletic Greens myself to get my stomach in check and help with my immune system and everything. And it has really, really helped me out as well. And it's something that can help you out as well. And the thing is with AG1 is it is lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And what's really important has been for me lately as well is that it supports a better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. That has been really important for me. A lot of stuff going on in life. AG1 has been one thing that has been helping me get back on the right track. And it's the one thing with the best things. Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products based on the latest science with constant product iterations and third-party testing. And again, multivitamins are very, very important, folks. And you want to be taking something with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. You're not just taking something to take it, it's just going straight through you. You actually want to have your body absorb it. And AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you can do to take care of yourself every single day. And your subscription also comes with a year's supply of vitamin D. So you're going to be wanting to take those as well. Be the best you can be. And right now, it is time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And one thing I like to do, I like to add a little bit of lemon juice in there as well. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now, folks, finally, we get to hear from the greatest hurricane ever. I still think so. Rod Brind'Amour. We got to hear from him following last night's game as well. He was, of course, at the lovely playoff press conference thing as well, but it was just him, just the Rod Brind'Amour show. He wasn't having to share with anyone like Martin Necas and Annti Raanta did, but I'm glad the joint press conferences are back. I always really enjoy those. But this is what Rod Brind'Amour had to say following last night's game.
Probably opening 10 minutes can draw it up better than it kind of went.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought we came out well. Nice to get the power play goal right away. Like, it's kind of, I guess, just nice to get ahead. Obviously, play with the lead is very, very important.
Feel good about your goalie choice?
Well, he played great. I mean, so did the other guy. I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, they made some saves there that could have put the game away for us, and then the Rants held us in too at times, especially there's 2 in the third right away. So, good. I mean, that game pretty much went how we, thought it would. They made great saves. We had good saves. I think both teams are going pretty hard.
Marty mentions just confidence on the power play. Is that sometimes what it takes?
Well, that's a lot of it, for sure. There's a lot of other things that he's leaving out, but, execution, right? I mean, the first one, we had good execution. I mean, we've been doing that all year, but that's the first time it hit, right? But it's just, the passes were great, the draw was, the things just kind of worked out. They did the exact same play, the very next power play for theirs, and almost hit it. So we were fortunate today to get it.
Was there some value in playing half of that game at 2-1 and defending it that way? Because the playoffs tend to be that kind of situation for a lot of it.
Well, you meaning just to get used to it? That's how it's going to be. We know that. It's going to be always tight, grind games. A mistake here or there is probably going to be the difference. But so is it valuable? I guess if you win, it is. That's for sure.
How much have you seen Burns' energy in his play tonight?
That's what we've seen all year. So, I mean, he's elite player, and you could see it out there. He could have had a few goals tonight. very, very impactful for sure.
Can you sense he's excited about the playoffs for the first time in a while?
He looks like that every game. I'll be honest. I didn't see much difference in his approach and how he plays it.
You always talk about special teams being the difference in playoff games, especially. PK tonight had to make a stop late.
Well,
Shane's not sticking.
yeah. We're not going to comment on that, but it's best penalty killer is always your goalie. Number one, he made a couple of real good saves, but the guys in there blocked some shots. They did what they had to do. They add Barzal to that. It's a pretty dynamic power play they got cooking there. So, we did a good job.
Is that a nice reward for Stephanie? Is that a nice?
Good hands. Good hand.
Is that a nice reward for Stephanie to get a goal in his first playoff game? And I think we're 5 years out since he's played in the playoffs.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that. You guys helped me out with that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's right where he does his job. I mean, he's very, very good at tipping pucks and around that 5 feet area. So, he was good tonight.
All right, thanks, Rod. Thanks, everyone.
We got one.
Impressive comp there.
Yeah, I did that.
So obviously, getting to hear from Rod Brind'Amour and his takeaways for the game, honestly, the same as a lot of other people, and nothing too crazy or groundbreaking with any of those. We've all been saying the same thing with a lot of it. With the Hurricanes really coming out playing hard, and they stuck to their game, and they showed up when they needed to show up. Power play showed up. Penalty kill showed up when it needed to show up. Annti Raanta showed up, and just the defense as a whole really showed up when it needed to show up. Now, going into game 2 tomorrow, we'll obviously talk about that game tomorrow and preview that one. But one quick thing I did want to touch on before we wrap things up here is, going into game 2, one thing I want to see, not only of the power play, continuing to have success, whether it's, scoring goals or just looking like a threat, putting the pressure on rather than just passing things around and, just being a bathroom break. One thing that I want to see is 5-on-5. I want to see, the 5-on-5, even strengths play net a goal. And again, it's testament to New York. This is the playoffs. And their Soroka is really good. And we knew like it's not going to be a very high scoring game or anything or series. But the 5-on-5 has been the Hurricanes' bread and butter this season. I do want to see that continue to be the case in game 2. I've said it many times throughout the year of power play can make or break a game. And it did in this game. It made the game for the Hurricanes. Again, both of their goals came on the power play. And, for a long time, I was using that game up in Detroit where they won 1-0 on Brady Shea's power play goal. And that was the difference maker. The power play was the difference maker in game 1 here. And I do want it to continue to be a difference maker throughout the series. But in game 2, I do want to see the 5-on-5 play net at least one goal. I do want to see that because that's going to be something that we need. We've seen in the playoffs before, the Hurricanes struggle on offense. That needs to show up as well. If we're going to win, we got to get that. We can't always, it can't be the other way around. We can't score all of our goals on the power play and expect to win. You got to score the even strength goals, just like you can't score all of your goals on even strength and not do anything with power play because power play can make or break the game. And so I want to see that improve in game 2, but we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's episode. So make sure you are subscribed to the show on YouTube. Make sure you are following on Twitter and Instagram at @LO_Hurricanes. Myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. If you're not watching the game at home or in person, make sure you are listening on Sirius XM, whether it be in your car, on your phone, on the SXM app, on wherever. Make sure you're listening on Sirius XM. They have all the home broadcasts. So if you're a Hurricanes fan, you can listen to Hurricanes broadcast. If you're a Stars fan, you can listen to the Stars broadcast. All of the home games are going to be there on SiriusXM. So make sure you're listening there as well. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Enjoy this playoff win, folks. And as always, let's go Canes.